If you already weren't aware, Skyrim is one of my favorite games of all time, and if the plethora of positive reviews and thousands of hours clocked in by individual players tell anything, it's that other players share this opinion. But something even the most dedicated fans of the game can agree on is that Skyrim is not perfect. Some might even say that the game is littered with annoying problems and quirks, which every Skyrim player is bound to encounter at some point. And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at 10 of the most annoying things in Skyrim that every player hates. Number 1. Can't fast travel when enemies are nearby is one of the most memorable quotes from Bethesda games since it was first implemented. And for the most part, it makes sense, since it would be quite a cop-out to just fast travel away whenever you found yourself in danger. But then you realize that enemies can stop you from fast traveling even if you're not in combat with them. And seriously, what kind of threat is a puny little mud crab going to impose on someone who kills dragons on a daily basis? It's more of a challenge to actually find the damn thing than it is fighting it, and it ends up being more tedious than it is challenging. Number 2. Vanilla Skyrim. Skyrim is almost 12 years old now, so it's no surprise that players have become a little bored with the vanilla version of the game, and I can't blame them. Skyrim is certainly showing its age. Colors look bland and washed out, the combat is shallow, bugs which were found 10 years ago are still present, and Lydia's body proportions leave a lot to be desired. Luckily, Skyrim boasts one of the most popular and lively modding communities in any video game, where you can mod Skyrim in virtually any way you want it. From minor bug fixes to new games entirely, Skyrim's modding community has just about anything you can imagine. Unfortunately, the majority of Skyrim's player base is on console, and even though Skyrim does support console mods now, console players will never be able to experience the true potential of Skyrim modding. For example, I just turned all the mud crabs in the game into Zoidberg and have Master Chief as my companion to protect me. Never change, modding community. Never change. Number 3. Nazim. The Elder Scrolls games are well known for their annoying characters. Morrowind had cliff racers and Gaynor, and Oblivion had adoring Fan and Mizoga. Skyrim also has a plethora of annoying characters, such as Braith and Delphine. However, none of these characters can compare to the worst offender of Skyrim's players' patience, Nazim. If you're unaware, Nazim is a citizen of Whiterun who is clad in fine clothes and spends all of his days smugly insulting the Dragonborn by assuming that we don't get to the Cloud District, often due to our apparent lower class to him. I'm not sure if Nazim is aware that I am the Thane of the city and have protected and helped Whiterun on numerous occasions. Nevertheless, Nazim seems to not care for any of this and believes that he's more important by doing nothing but walking around Whiterun's lower quarters, casually insulting the city's lower class. But Nazim isn't all bad. After all, he's one of the first people that taught us the importance of quick saving. Number 4. Companions. Although Skyrim has received a lot of praise throughout the years for many of its features, its NPC AI was not one of them. Skyrim does not have the best AI. It's actually quite far from having good AI, and this is showcased best with your companions. From blocking doorways to setting off traps that kill themselves, Skyrim's companions can't help but put themselves in harm's way while also annoying you in the process. Number 5. Horses attacking enemies, then dying. If poor companion AI wasn't bad enough, there's also the sick joke that was implemented which made horses attack enemies. Not only is horse riding one of the jankiest mechanics in the game, but Skyrim's AI team also thought that there's no better companion than weak horses, which deal virtually no damage and cost thousands of gold to buy. Number 6. Dying without saving. One of the most useful features in all RPGs is the quick save button, but I'm sure there was a time when we were all unaware of this feature, and we would forget to save just to die and be sent back to the start of the dungeon. An even worse version of this annoyance is losing progress due to the game crashing. There's simply nothing worse than spending 30 minutes clearing out a Nordic ruin just for your game to abruptly crash and for you to be sent back to the start of the dungeon. Unfortunately, there isn't a quick save feature in real life, so try your best not to break anything when this happens. Number 7. Unrewarding loot. Back in the age of Morrowind, the loot system used to be quite easy to understand. Items were found in places where it would make some sense to find them. For example, if you were in a dwarven ruin, then chances are that's where you would find dwarven armor or dwarven swords. However, Oblivion changed all this and simply made it so that loot would be randomly generated and scaled based on your level. Skyrim followed the same formula, and now we're left with a pretty underwhelming loot system where you'll always be finding loot that is unrewarding to the point of it being worthless during the early game, to then go on to finding ebony and orcish weapons in places like Dwemer Ruins, because that makes a whole lot of sense, doesn't it? Worst of all is that the majority of the chests found scattered throughout the world have pointless gear, which is only useful for selling to blacksmiths, since the best weapons in the game are locked behind unique quests. And although there are mods such as Morrowloot that try to remedy this issue, the issue persists for console and vanilla players alike. Number 8. Stealth Archers. Like eating a bowl of pistachios, the journey to becoming a stealth archer in Skyrim starts harmless enough, with you getting your first bow in Helgen and using it to take out the frostbite spiders in the first dungeon. Then you choose the Thief Stone since it covers the majority of the skill trees. Then one thing leads to another, and you've suddenly dumped all your points into the stealth and archery trees, and all of your pistachios are now gone. I think I'm mixing up the metaphors. But being a stealth archer isn't bad because it's ineffective. It's quite the opposite. Stealth archers probably require the least amount of skill out of any other build. It's not like the rest of the gameplay in Skyrim is hard, but being a stealth archer is particularly basic. You simply tap the crouch button and hold the attack button to draw your bow, and release it when you line up your crosshair with your target. Rinse and repeat. Not even basic movement is required during this whole process, making playing as a stealth archer about as interesting as playing golf. Number 9. Accidental stealing. Now, I like playing as a thief as much as the next guy, but in the world of Skyrim, the idea of being a thief can be as simple as accidentally stealing a fork off a shopkeeper's counter. Have you ever tried speaking to a shopkeeper and then you accidentally steal an item off the counter, leaving the entire town trying to murder you? Yeah, it's pretty annoying. I mean, seriously, why not just take the damn fork back off my hands instead of trying to brutally murder me over something I didn't even mean to do? And finally, number 10. Home decorating. While being able to customize the interior of your house is actually a really awesome thing you can do in Skyrim, the problem comes from when you're trying to put items on shelves or put things in specific places, or while the in-game physics go crazy. Now, to be fair, for the more casual player this probably isn't a big issue, but if you're like me and love building up your house and displaying stuff, you definitely know the feeling. The whole grab system that the game employs goes from being an amusing thing to screw around with to being the bane of your existence. Constantly knocking things over or accidentally moving items you don't want to move, that little 10-minute bookshelf you planned on setting up ends up taking 2 hours, all for you to walk back into your house and see the books scattered everywhere. If I wanted to, I could dedicate an entire video to all the tiny annoyances that occur when decorating your home in Skyrim. But anyway, that's all for today, folks. Leave a comment and let us know what you thought. And if you like the video, click the like button. And if you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so.